Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?
Hi, I'm your L7 movie guy, Pierre Marks. This is the show for all your movie streaming recommendations and reviews. Let's get started. First up we have is Better Watch Out, a horror comedy where Ashley travels to the suburb home of the Lorners to babysit their 12-year-old son Luke during the holidays. Then she must soon defend herself and the young boy when unwelcome intruders announce their arrival. Or so she thinks.
Here's Johnny!
So right off the bat, this starts off very typical on immature adolescence, but then gets surprisingly dark and uncomfortable with its twisted humor as well as the small amount of sexual undertones, which at times made me feel weirded out by what I was watching. Purely for the fact that the director did a very uniquely good job at fleshing out this screenplay that had such a mean-spirited behavior to it that would be a nightmare for parents as well as babysitters. Also too, I couldn't help but notice that the production took a lot of inspiration from the Christmas film Home Alone. Whether it was the intruder aspect, the young mischief aspect, or just the planning of booby traps, you couldn't help but find the similarities in both films. Now, when it comes to the actors, I will say that everyone served their purpose in driving the story forward. The only one I wished I would have seen more in this film or had more parts in this film would have been the dad character, because he's David Puddy from Seinfeld, and I think he would have just had some really funny moments or just dialogue if he was given the opportunity to do so. But for our main three characters, I will say that they were very typical overall. For there was the comic relief character that has a change of heart near the end, as well as our female hero character that had such great observations as well as timing to outsmart everyone. Then there was the villain character that was the main focus of this story, which at times this character really pissed me off because of the fact that he was so evil and such a little prick. That at times made me really wonder and think this all could have just ended with one good punch in the face.
You know what? We gotta do what we should have done 30 years ago.
Yes, you're right.
You ready?
Yeah, Sean Dumont, that prick.
Son of a
That
bitch.
goddamn prick.
Yo, I'm gonna steal my dad's vape pen. I know where he hides that shit.
Hey, you.
With that being said, this was surprisingly unexpected and felt out of pocket at certain times. If you are a fan of Christmas movies that have more of a violent, crude type humor to it, then I would say this one is for you. If I had to nitpick about anything with this film, I will say that the main character felt a little bit over the top at times. Also too, with an ending that ultimately makes you want more but feels unfinished and probably won't see a conclusion to this, I will have to give this one a nay. But for an audience thumb scale, I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. Now I want to take a quick break and recommend some documentaries that I saw over the week. The first one is the Sean Combs Reckoning documentary that was produced by 50 Cent. This one was very shocking and disgusting for the fact that this lunatic was guilty of so many different things and was able to, have a really lavish life until pretty much what he gets at the end. But I still think that he deserves a lot more than he got. Either way, this documentary was very entertaining. The second documentary is The Cocaine Quarterback. This one was very typical in terms of an individual that has a rise and fall in the drug game, but with great editing, charismatic interviews, as well as surprisingly entertaining reenactments. I will say that this one was a great watch. Also, what I found really funny about both these documentaries is that there's never really a voice of reason. And what I mean by that is that there's never really an interview with a person that's friends with a person that gets involved with these people that make bad choices or that are guilty of something to just say, hey, don't waste your time with that person or stay away from that person. There's never really that person being interviewed. And I find it really funny because it's like, why isn't there anybody?
I'm gonna do so much fucking cocaine. I'm gonna rape so many fine bitches. Know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, totally.
You should stay away from him.
Yeah.
So, if you're a fan of episode type documentaries and you have some free time, I would definitely strongly recommend that you watch these ones and just, enjoy. Also, be prepared for some really crazy shit. And yeah, check those ones out. Last up we have is Flow. This is a computer animated fantasy adventure about a cat and his home being destroyed by a great flood. Then finds refuge on a boat and along the way is occupied by various animals. And will have to team up and work together despite their differences.
People, work with me, work with me, work with me.
Now right away, I must say that this was recommended to me by my coworker buddy Joe, and I'm very glad that he did. That's because this was freshly different and unique in telling a story about an animal adventure survival. It was telling a story that was wildly primitive because of the fact that there's no type of dialogue besides the animal's native tongue. The thing that stood out to me the most in this was how the production did a fantastic job in creating this beautiful imagery as well as the really cool animation. Which is because it had computer animation that was mixtured in with like a bold, bright paintbrush color look to it. That at times really gave it a cinematic feel to it as well as showcased some great camera framing as well as following our subject shots.
Stop following me.
As for our animal characters, I will say that they were carefully as well as cleverly chosen to be in this film. That's because they had a good mixture of domesticated type animals as well as non-domesticated type animals, which makes it good so you have some kind of conflict in there. I did really appreciate though that they did showcase a lot of the individual animal traits in this and how they use those traits to their advantage throughout the film. Now, if you did not notice this from the poster, the main character is a cat and it works beautifully. That's because the film does a very good job in showcasing how cats are very much more independent and skittish around other animals that they do not recognize. Which at times is really funny as well as very familiar if you ever owned a cat.
Hey, shut up!
In the end, this was very interesting in its own way and had me wondering where it was going towards the end. I did find it though very slow paced in certain areas of the film and probably could have been more condensed and made it into more of a short film than a feature length. Also too, it got really metaphoric near the end and kind of just threw me off a little bit, but it still kept my interest throughout the film. So if you're an animal lover as well as a fan of computer animation, then I would say definitely check this one out and it might be for you. And I'm going to have to give this one an easy yay. But for an audience thumb scale, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Well, that's all the time we have. As always, smash that like and subscribe button. And if you like any of the movies we discussed, please leave a comment down below. Have a good weekend and may the movies be with you. Lates.